Welcome all to the completely unnecessary podcast, the spooky edition. Pre-Halloween, October 26th, a Tuesday, 2021. No, I'm not dressed up in the Link costume. I should have been. That's Ian Ferguson.
Howdy.
I'm Pat Contry. On the show today, we'll be talking about lots of fun stuff. N64 expansion pack games are out on Switch Online, and boy, are people are super happy about that.
People are mild.
We'll dive into what exactly is in those Intellivision physical products. We'll dive into that. It'll be the news will shock you. We have a Patreon poll topic. We got voicemails. We'll go over paranormal stuff for Halloween. Ian, what'd you do this past weekend? Did you have fun?
Yeah, I went to my first concert since before COVID.
Oh.
On Friday, I went to the Casbah in San Diego.
You rocked the Casbah?
Yep. Trey got a hold of Vonnie and I earlier in the week and was like, "Hey, I've got extra tickets for this show. Do you want to go with Emily and I?" And we were like, "Yeah." Because I love hanging out with Trey. It's fun. We haven't done that in a while.
Right. So look at those fringe benefits from working at Luna still following through.
Oh, I got it. I got fucking hooked up. So I went in there yesterday to finally. I think I talked about the story a little bit. It was actually a mini Tales from the Game Store. I think that I talked about on the first bonus podcast we did.
Oh.
I went and actually picked up my Lavender Hannah Montana PSP, and I'm just so excited. I finally got it.
Patreon.com/CU podcast.
That's right.
You listen to all about that tale.
See what I do? I work it in. See how good I am. Anyways, yeah, I got hooked up on that. But yeah, so we went, and I didn't even know who the band was. It was some dark electronic act called Contravoid. It was
Contravoid.
It was extremely loud and good. It was wonderful. I had a wonderful time. And then went to Taco Fest on Saturday with Vonnie, our annual tradition. Ate a lot of tacos. Had an eggplant tofu taco that was just out of this world.
By the way, your bag's in the front there. You can leave it there. I don't care. It's just
that's cool. Watched the Chihuahua beauty pageant.
Oh, really?
I love watching the Chihuahua.
I like Chihuahuas. They're usually quiet and cute.
This is what I was talking about. So I was talking about with our friend Tom and with someone else.
Some people
recently.
hate Chihuahuas. I think they're fine.
I grew up hating Chihuahuas. Hated them.
Oh, you had a hatred for Chihuahuas.
I just didn't like them at all growing up.
You like
and
Taco
then
Bell dog?
And then suddenly I met my friend's Chihuahua. It wasn't even like a friend. It was an acquaintance. And me and that dog fucking bonded. Loved that dog. And then every Chihuahua I started to see, I was like, these are kind of cool dogs. I fucking love Chihuahuas. Love them. They're great.
I used to see people to swap me. They take them around little strollers, and they're just quiet dogs hanging out. Sometimes they're a little shaky. They're looking around, and they're just minding their own business.
I think it's because I can
They don't attack you.
I connect with Chihuahuas. I understand. I can
understand
be
the
shaky.
shakiness?
I can be shaky and nervous too.
If you were a dog, you'd be a Chihuahua.
If I was a dog, I'd probably be a Chihuahua.
That's why some dogs I like. Okay, I like either. It's weird. I don't like the dogs in the middle. I like small dogs that mind their business like Chihuahuas, or big like Huskies and smart dogs that also mind their own business but are smart.
Right.
Everything else in the middle, the yappers, the toy dogs, don't like them. Like I'm very specific on my dogs. There's probably only a 1% chance I'll ever own a dog, but like if I owned a dog, it would probably sound like a Chihuahua or like a Husky. Like I seem like they are similar intelligence. Those two dogs, except one just minds his own business, the other one's like a worker, or like a lab or a golden retriever. That's the only dogs I like. All three of those. But this isn't about me, is it?
No.
Was there a taco du jour that day or no?
If I had to pick a number one taco, it was either the eggplant tofu one or the
eggplant tofu.
Yeah, it was eggplant and tofu. It was a vegan taco.
It
was
an
attempt,
and
it was
an attempt.
It was an attempt at a vegan taco. Well, I say attempt because none of these actually taste very taco-y, but they're always very delicious. The chicharrone's taco is good though.
How does something taste taco-y?
It doesn't have the usual taco spices necessarily.
Oh, that's in the meat, you mean, or the taco sauce?
Yeah, like the cumin and stuff like that. The chicharrone's taco was really good too. Fried crispy pork skin.
Oh,
yeah, just crunchy and delicious. It was wonderful.
Crunchy, not crunchy, crunchy.
So yeah, that was pretty much my weekend. Sunday I played D&D. Sunday was when I threw my back out even worse. So I'm just I'm floating through life right now.
Cairo gun that baby.
Yeah,
Cairo gun it.
Been doing.
Use Pat's gift.
Been doing.
I was at Metropalooza, first time in 3 years, Arlington, Texas. We talked about my experience at the great Twisted Root burger place on the exclusive Patreon podcast. Let's not bring it up until the end of the podcast. But it was great to come out there. I bought like a few computer games. This is how you know I'm getting. Jesus, I like blanked out when you misfired that in my brain. I got the hint. I got the original hint book, the old OG hint books for King's Quest 2 when you use the marker. Those are probably hard to find. I had the marker still. And then I got the leadership ladder.
Oh, you need the marker.
The marker
like,
undo it.
Yeah,
it's almost like magic marker or like disappearing ink stuff. And then I got the leadership ladder original one, which was a little bit later, and it had the red see-through card thing. You know, the red line thing to look through.
Yeah,
but it was cool to find like the marker one. Those are probably not easy to find those anymore. So I got that.
So the markers where you like scribble something on and then like the text appears.
It's literally like you go over the line. Do
you remember when they made like activity books that used to come with those markers?
I never had one, but my parents didn't love me enough to get me that. Sorry.
I mean, they were cheap.
Well, that makes it worse. Yes.
Like $1.
Yeah, yes. So it was an Etch-a-Sketch. I never had one. Sketch was like $5. Anyway, so it was a great time seeing everyone out there. I hung out with my pal Pixel Dan, your pal, and Christina, his better half, and it was great to see people. It was funny. It was like the combo books because Dan came out with this great Masters of the Universe toy guide, which is literally like the same dimensions of the NES and Super Nintendo books. It's actually a slightly thicker book, but I mean, you look at the threading's the same color. It might come from the same printing press somewhere in Asia. Who knows? And it was funny to see people walking around with those. He sold out of his books.
Oh, nice.
It's
a good book. I had a lot of fun reading through it.
Yeah, and it was good talking to Dan about just bonding over the heartache and troubles of putting these big gigantic books together. It's definitely an experience, and he's working on another book. He's working on another one. But yeah, they've been doing well. You saw my arcade stance.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I did see your arcade stance.
So that was at the little arcade section. Not too late, about 25, 30 games at Retropalooza. And there are people playing some Street Fighter Championship. I will say this before I get into it. I'm not making excuses for my performance. I did not have a bad performance. But it was not an original Street Fighter cabinet. Not only that, the button layouts were fucked. The buttons were not like next to each other. Like this is how big the space was between the buttons, Ian. You had to do that to hit all three buttons, which made combos and switching back and forth between like low and high punch really tough.
Far more difficult.
Yeah, because you couldn't just like. So not just that, the joysticks were like felt super tight. And I know Championship tightened up the controls in general, but like something seemed a little off. And it wasn't just me saying that; it was my opponents as well. Doesn't matter though. Pat went 7-1, 7 wins in a row. They lined up. They knocked them all down with Ryu. Finally, I lost to Blanca because I couldn't counter with I couldn't throw a Shoryuken to save my life to counter the jumping arm attack. It's not much you can do with that. You got to do a Shoryuken or hopefully get your uppercuts in, but you usually get hit. But no, it was fun. It was fun to defend my Street Fighter honor there. That's before we went to Twisted Root. No, it was a fun time. It was a fun time. Speaking of fun times, Ian, the Castlevania video with me and our pal Gerard, the completionist, is out. Came out this weekend. Ian already saw it. He loved it.
I watched it 5 or 6 times.
5 or 6 times? You put it on 2x speed and went through it 5 or 6 times?
One instance of it on each monitor.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
Okay. But no, it was a fun video. I mean, we did that video 9 years ago originally, the original one. So it was fun to revisit it and see how much my hair had evolved in 9 years, basically. That was short hair, Pat. That's how long ago it was.
Jeez.
That was BLH before long hair. You can say that before curly hair. BC, yeah, BC before curly hair.
Before curly.
Yeah, there you go. You see what Hasbro did over the weekend, Ian?
Yeah, they got into that NFT shit.
They were doing their Hasbro Pulse, which I guess is their online event, Pulse, to announce things. Pulse.
So I'm a little. My understanding of this is, and I'm not happy about this. My understanding is that they're selling NFTs, and you have to have the NFT to even have a chance at getting one of their actual toys.
Well, okay.
They're launching its first Power Rangers NFT, which can be used to redeem a special edition of the Dino Megazord. Revealed Friday during Hasbro's PulseCon, the collection of Power Rangers NFTs will be available through Sunday, including digital artwork of a black and gold Dino Megazord and the individual Dino-themed Zords that make it up. Customers who purchase one can redeem it for a physical version of the Megazord called the Lightning Collection Zord Ascension Project Special Edition Dino Megazord.
Okay. So you buy the NFT, it's $200.
Yep.
But in theory, you trade that in for the toy.
Yes.
Yes. So you are trading it. It's a 1-to-1. Like, it's not an opportunity.
Okay.
It's a trade-in, right? So my point. So why is this better or necessary versus just a pre-order? What's the difference? I mean, I guess you could trade ownership of this, but somehow is that why? Or they why the NFT?
No, it's literally
Entanglement.
At this point. I think it's the only way I think NFT is going to take off is if you attach it with something physical. I mean, that's the funny thing about this. Their NFT is supposed to be for digital art, but they're trying to get people into it by being like, but you also get the physical version of the Zord as well. It's ridiculous.
But this is basically a pre-order for the Lightning Collection.
It's a pre-order for it.
Lightning Collection Zord Ascension Project Special Edition Dino Megazord. Is that a joke? That name? Holy crap! It's like 17 names right there.
I think one of the other things they're doing is if you buy this, you can get the physical one, but it looks like you have to exchange the NFT for it. So there are definitely going to be people who I don't think are very smart.
That get two of them?
No, that buy it and don't. Well, either buy two of them or buy it and don't exchange it for the physical Zord because they want to see if the NFT ends up being worth something in the future.
And you only have 1 week to exchange it.
So you have to think. Yeah.
Like, who's going to get this? I think this is going to go up, especially if there's no value after the 8th of November. You can't exchange it for anything.
I don't know. People who think NFTs inherently have value.
And Hasbro wins because then they'll have extra stock laying around they can still sell for $200 or. Right. No, I can't picture anyone that would actually spend $200 on this and not redeem it.
Someone's going to do it. Someone's going to do it, and they're going to think it's 4D chess.
4D chess.
Someone's going to do it, and they're going to think they're the fucking specialist person in the world.
What is that fourth dimension in 4D chess? I always wonder, what is that fourth dimension? Because time is not a dimension. I think that was been established. I think it's like this. It's like the infinite space thing or like void space.
I mean, it's just a way to make something sound complicated.
Like that Twilight Zone episode.
Yeah.
Remember they go on the wall, the girl gets trapped in space, basically, in like the void?
Not exactly. I don't remember that.
You don't remember that episode?
No.
It's a great episode. Very experimental. Oh, by the way, Ian, going back real quick to Retropalooza, I have a present for you. Close your eyes. A present for you. Because you brought it up. Open your eyes. Someone was nice enough to give you that.
Jeez. My own personal can of crack. Thank you.
What is it? Ian, it's
the Peach Rings G Fuel, the Sonic flavor. It's delicious. It's also far more caffeine than anyone should intake at one time.
Oh, that's too much caffeine.
So I will drink half of that and then drink the other half later.
Plug it with a cork to keep the carbonation. Yep. So I guess could work. And then drink the rest later. Because what is that? Is that 12 ounce can?
300 milligrams per 16 fluid ounce.
That's 16 ounces. That's a double can.
Yeah.
Wow. That's like remember the old Arizona iced tea cans like that?
They still make them. I love it.
I mean, okay.
It's delicious. It's diabetes for
I was going to say, it's pre-diabetes in a can.
The funny thing about those is if you look at the health, the nutrition facts on them, they're not as bad as like pop, not as bad as Gatorade.
In terms of sugar, really?
Yeah, in terms of sugar and carbs.
And Arizona iced tea isn't that bad, you're saying?
The iced tea, it's specifically the iced tea. Once you get into the and that goes for the fruit iced teas. Once you get into like the watermelonade and the grapeade and stuff like that, then it's just yeah. But the iced teas are 150 calories per can, which is.
Are you sure?
Yes.
That's per serving. There's 2 servings.
It's 50 per serving. There's 3 servings per can. It's 150.
That's shockingly low to me.
Yeah, well, it's iced tea, man.
That's like having a devil dog.
Yeah, so it's really not bad. It's like I said, once you get into the other drinks, it gets a lot worse. But yeah, Vonnie was surprised to find that out too, because it's actually better for you than like a Gatorade.
Yeah, Gatorade is. You should not. I don't know anyone ever drink Gatorade just for leisure. It's to replenish. Like when you work out or when you're sick.
I used to drink it all the time when I worked in restaurants because I was constantly moving.
Yeah, that's what it's for. Like they advertise it for athletes, or like I said, if you're sick, the best thing is to have Gatorade around if you can't keep down food, you do the Gatorade. It has electrolytes. It has enough sugar.
That's when I drink it when I'm sick, or if I'm like I said, when I did restaurant work or anything where I was on my feet a lot.
Sure. You want to talk about this craziness, Ian, with Pokemon cards? So, COVID relief funds were used for a Pokemon card. A man this is from USA Today. Man in Georgia, man fraudulently received COVID relief funds, and he spent $57,000 on a Pokemon card.
Yep, one Pokemon card. It's funny when you look at what they're charged with. He was charged with wire fraud because of it.
Oh, okay.
Yeah,
because it's transferring funds between states.
Yeah, he claimed he was the sole owner of a business that brought in $235,000 in a 12-month span and had 10 employees. He received a deposit of $85,000 in terms of COVID relief funds. 5 months later, on January 8th, he spent $57,789 on a Pokemon card. The card was not described in court documents, and rare Pokemon cards can be worth hundreds of thousands. So that's the sad thing. We don't actually know
what card it was.
But there's at this point, that's not that weird. There's lots of cards that could go for that much.
This was not a PPP loan, economic injury disaster loan. Designed to help small businesses experiencing hardship because of COVID pandemic. So obviously, it's fun, but these funds could have went elsewhere potentially. And yes, they did do like a second round of like PPP and everything, but like it was tough for that first round. A lot of the big corporations got that. They were pre-prepared with lawyers and they got the money right away, and it hurt a lot of small business. But either way, don't be a fucking asshole and do this shit. It's ridiculous. And now you're going to go to prison. And get fined.
Up to 20 years in prison and $250,000 in fines if convicted.
I don't think he'll go to prison for 20 years, but they'll probably set him away for a few years and a fine. Yeah. Like you think you're gonna get away with it? I guess they do. That's why people do it. There's a lot of people try to get the COVID funds and made up like, oh, I have a business with like 40 employees and getting the PPP. It's like, you don't think it's gonna catch up with you?
Yeah.
At some point. Maybe a few sneak through the cracks. I don't know. There's always government fraud when it comes to disbursement because people are assholes. There's a lot of assholes out there. A lot of slime balls. Take advantage of the common good right there. On the bottom of this article, man who faked his own death gets sentenced to 56 months for COVID business loan fraud.
Wow.
And then this other one, Ferrari, Bentley, and Lamborghini. California man, I saw this article before, I think a few weeks back. California man fraudulently got $5 million in COVID-19 relief money, authorities say.
Jesus.
There you go.
Jesus.
Good times. Good times.
That's insane.
What's also insane is Ubisoft emailing you after you stop playing your game.
Yeah. Hassling you after you've stopped playing the game. Don't do that to me, Ubisoft. I never finish games. The last thing I want to be reminded about is how I'm not finishing my games in my email. So yeah, Ubisoft, apparently you have to sign up for an Ubi account to do a lot of, I don't know if that's what it's called.
Ubi account?
An Ubi account.
Are you an Oopster? Is that part of
Are you an Oopster? Is that what they call their listeners? Ubisoft is like, hey there, Oopsters.
Hey, Oopsters. Hey, Oopster Club. Get your pin.
Hey, Oopsters. Anyways, so yeah, someone's reporting that Ubisoft is sending out taunting emails that harass players who have not played and says, you disappoint me.
It was amusing watching you fail.
It was amusing watching you fail.
You're fighting against a dictator in like sort of like a Cuba type of environment.
Hola, Rojas. I wanted to thank you for giving me free reign in Yara. Take it easy and know that Yara is in capable hands, El Presidente. And then it taunts you with the amount of time you have played, which is only 3 hours for this person.
You can't save the country in 3 hours? Oh man. You can't save Yara in 3 hours?
Don't hassle us, Ubisoft. You know what's not a hassle, Pat?
What's not a hassle, Ian?
Going to ultimatenintendo.com.
Wow, Ian, why is that not a hassle? What can you get there?
You can get books, you can get pins, you can get RBI baseball stickers. I don't know, probably other stuff.
You're holding it together until probably other stuff. Thanks, Ian.
You're welcome.
I do appreciate that. That's how Ian says I want to move it on along. And I'll be on Twitch Wednesday night. Halloween themed. We're going to try to find a couple of Elvira blocks from the past on 80s Commercial Vault, the YouTube channel. Twitch.tv/Country Code. And I also found the original Shocktober commercials I remembered from WPIX New York, which was Channel 11, which was, that was like I think they were like WB. That was like pre-WB. Channel 11. They showed, they'd have like no original program. They had their own news. They showed like the Yankee games, and they do like syndicated shows and movies. So in October, it became Shocktober, and every night during the week at like 8, they would show a heavily edited horror movie. One night a week, they would do like Friday the 13th, like 1 through 5.
It's hilarious how much those movies are edited for TV.
I mean everything got edited out. I mean everything.
No boobs, no gore.
No boobs. No, I mean, you didn't see anyone getting stabbed by Freddy Krueger, or like they would cut away.
That stuff was like purpose built.
It was still
to be
scary
like,
though.
To be like background noise for like trick or treaters. You throw it on the TV and you walk away.
Oh, that's why I did that's when I was finishing my homework up.
Yeah.
At 8 o'clock at night doing that stuff. When I'm like, this is like late 80s, early 90s. I remember there was one that did up to like Friday the 13th part 8, which that came out like 88, 89. So like around there, because they were doing like
Manhattan, I think, is 88.
Yeah, because they were doing one a year in the 80s about.
Yeah, I was gonna say because I think 6 is 86. That would make sense.
So, or 87. So like this must have been when I was like 10 years old. They would do this. So they did this up to the early 90s on WPIX New York.
July 28th, 1989 was when that movie came out.
It was New York's movie station. That's what they used to call it. Because on Sundays they show you like they'd have twins on Sunday afternoon, the Sunday movie, and it was marvelous. Anyway, I found commercial blocks, not commercials. I found the commercial there. So come to Twitch tomorrow night. I won't be dressed up in a costume, but there's like a 2% chance I will be. I dressed up as He-Man a couple years ago. Remember a few years ago?
You're still riding it.
I tried to get Ian to be Batman. He refused.
I don't dress up. Every year I say I'm gonna dress up as Dr. Herbert West from Reanimator, but I never do.
No idea what that is.
It's a fucking fantastic movie.
I'm also gonna be at Retro World Expo, November 6th and 7th, in beautiful, scenic Hartford, Connecticut. Hartford, the insurance capital of the world, I think. Or maybe it used to be. It used to be.
Reanimator's 1985. Like, that's like, if there was a horror movie I would have thought you would have seen, it would have been like...
It wasn't on Shocktober.
Did you ever see Return of the Living Dead?
I believe...
Very 80s.
I've seen
comedy,
the
funny.
comedy one, yes.
It's good?
Yes,
okay.
I've seen
Reanimator's got a lot of comedy in it, too.
Yes.
So those seem like the types of movies you would have seen.
That was not in the Shock... I saw all the Freddy Krueger ones. I saw most of those. I saw the first 5, and I saw all the Friday 13th up to 8, basically because of Shocktober.
Yeah,
maybe not the first one. So I think
9 didn't come out until the awful worst movie ever
Jason
made.
Goes to Hell?
Jason Goes to Hell was like 91 or 92, maybe even later. Than
I think it was 93. They skipped a few years in
Yeah.
between 8 and that, and that was supposed to set up Freddy versus Jason, which never happened.
Well, it did happen.
Well, I mean, never.
It didn't set up quite that way. Yeah.
Well, it came out 10 years later.
1993 was Jason Goes to Hell.
Awful. It didn't come out till 10 years later. The
Fucking
actual movie.
Awful.
Which was like
movie.
10 years too late because those were the 2 hottest properties in like the late 80s.
Best thing in Jason Goes to Hell is that first kill with the tent pole, and then
I never
it
saw
all
it.
goes south.
I actually never saw it. That's one I haven't seen.
So bad.
I've seen Jason X. I've seen Jason.
Jason 10 is great. I love X.
Jason 10. You gotta be cool.
Fun.
It's X.
It's not.
It's Roman numeral. It's
saying
Jason
10 isn't cool.
Roman numerals there, Ian. That's what you're going for there. Speaking of something that'll
People
never
don't
die.
call it Jason VII.
We have to start respecting Roman numerals again. Start respecting those. Speaking of something that never dies, Charles Martinette wants to voice Bowser until he's dead. Not Bowser, Mario. I put this wrong. He's not Bowser. This is from Eurogamer. Charles Martinette, who's voiced Mario since, I think, before 64. I think he voiced him on the computer game shit that I have around here. Like Mario Teaches Typing or whatever. That's when he started.
Oh, really?
I believe so.
Did not know that.
I believe he started a couple years before. But some Mario nut will correct me. I want to voice Mario until I drop dead. I'm not going anywhere for a long time. That's my Mario.
Oh,
sorry. I wasn't planning that.
Man.
Martinette, who is 66, has been the voice of the mascot since 92. See, I told you, it's computer stuff.
All right.
I know some of my history. After almost 30 years, he has portrayed the plumber around 100 games. I would have said like 50. 100. Wow. I guess you count like all the tennis games and the golf games and it all adds up.
Yeah, true.
Mario parties. Controversially, Martinette will not play Mario in Nintendo's upcoming Super Mario movie, which goes to Chris Pratt. And again, that's really a fucking weird decision, that whole thing.
A weird decision that we're not happy about.
He said this at Fan Expo Canada. I wanted to voice Mario until I drop dead. If someday I think I'm no longer capable of doing it, I will tell Nintendo to look into finding someone else. He also voices Luigi, Wario, and Waluigi. All right, total package right there. I mean, yeah, it's a good job. You show up, You do some voices, you're used to it, and then you can go to conventions and it's everyone saying, "Hey, can you do my voice message on my phone and get paid, $10 grand for going to an event?" That's fantastic.
Yeah.
What a life. I'd do that.
I can't imagine that being a particularly awful gig.
Yeah, I did not meet Mr. Martinette, but Kenny, I forget his last name, who does the voice of Bowser, very nice. I've seen him at multiple conventions. He was just at Retropalooza, actually. I believe he's from Texas. Yeah. Maybe they could do a death match. Charles Martinet versus Chris Pratt for rights to the character. I don't know. He said, I hope there will still be Mario after I am gone. Anyways, there are over 5 million audio files of me voicing Mario. I go into the studio and record 45 takes of every sound I can think of. So I'm not going anywhere for a long time. So in theory, if he passes away someday, they'll have tons of samples forever.
So that's how, I don't know if it's still done that way, but at least for a little while after the original voice actor who did the Pikachu for the Pokemon cartoons passed away, there was so many sound clips of this person doing Pikachu that I at least know, I think for the season that followed, they didn't get like a replacement voice actor. I'm fairly certain they just used the same, all the samples that were there. I don't know if they're still doing that. But yeah, I mean, when these people are these characters forever, especially someone like Mario, who's not speaking in like full sentences, or Pikachu, who's talking in syllables of its name, you're going to acquire enough of that sound to keep that character alive.
The closest analogy I can think of, apparently before Stan Lee passed away, they recorded Stan Lee like green screen in front of all these.
Like all of his interstitials. So like he'll show up in Marvel movies forever, which
is kind of creepy. And I'm like, not sure if that's. I mean, it's ethical if it's family and he agreed to do that, but it's kind of creepy. But anyway, supposedly they filmed dozens of different scenarios that they can green screen him into any fucking scene for like the future movies, because. Wait a minute, no, was he in Shang-Chi? Now I'm trying to remember. He showed up in Shang-Chi.
I don't know.
Was Stan Lee? Because that was filmed after he died, wasn't it? Was Stan Lee in Shang-Chi? That's a good question. He wanted Brandon Lee to star as Shang-Chi. Well, that would have been awesome, 25 years ago, 30 years ago. God, he's been there for 30 years almost, Brandon Lee. Oh, no, they ended it.
Oh, they did? Okay.
It looks like, according to this article. So I guess they're not going that direction. So the last one, Marvel Studios officially ends Stan Lee cameos in MCU. Oh, a good run of 20 movies.
Yeah.
22 he had. So Endgame was digitally de-aged. They de-aged him. As one previous one, Captain Marvel, were his final appearances. Okay. There you go. He was 98 when he died. My God, that's a run. 98. Wow. All right. Well, then I guess they're not going to go that route, or else whoever told me that information was lying about propping old Stanley up and having him do stuff.
They might have, and then just decided not to.
Maybe in poor taste.
Yeah.
To do that. Poor taste. Ian, does Switch need a more powerful version?
I don't know. No. Yes.
What does My Nintendo News say about that?
What does My Nintendo News say about that?
Saber Interactive's Dmitry Grigorenko, that's a good name, Grigorenko, who is the lead designer of the upcoming World War Z port for Nintendo Switch, has said in a recent interview that he doesn't believe, copy editor, that a more powerful Switch system is needed at present. Saber Interactive is a development studio which has produced a number of high-profile Switch ports, such as Vampire and The Witcher 3 Wild Hunt Complete Edition. He says the obvious answer would be overall better hardware with less build and patch size limitations, but I don't think the Switch needs a powerful version that badly. Saber and many other talented studios have already proven that there's no such thing as an impossible port. Nintendo consoles were never about hardware. They were always about something that boosts your gameplay experience, and I can't wait to see what they come up with next. That sounds like boilerplate. So,
yeah. Each game we release on Switch pushes the hardware more than before. So, yeah, it's more boilerplate. But, I mean, I think there's probably something to be said to what he has to say. I would love to see a more powerful version with less frame rate issues and stuff like that. I think everyone would. But I think if I read a little bit between the lines, I think what he's saying is we're getting to the point where hardware is powerful enough where you can do a reasonable facsimile of just about any game that you want to. But you may have to cut it down in other areas.
Well, didn't we postulate because of that? What was that technology we thought would be in the OLED Switch, where it does like that the real time like upscaling into like 4K? That would have been
right. And that wasn't in there.
Yeah, I know. it wasn't.
Yeah.
But we're almost to that point where you won't need blistering hardware to do these games that look great.
That's what I'm trying to say.
We're
You get
not
to
far
it.
off.
I mean, obviously, and there will be lots of people disagree with me. Obviously, you can do more with more power. But yeah, I think we're getting to the point where our baseline hardware is good enough to represent a game as its creators would intend.
Yeah.
In a lot of ways.
Yeah. I mean, we thought that the OLED could have had that upscaling in there because at that point, all bets are off. You could have your, you okay? You could have your GTA, 5 on that system in theory.
Right.
If you're using like software upscaling to do it without your Switch blowing up in your hand.
Yeah.
From the heat, basically. So yeah, it's interesting. You